Hey there. How you doing? Happy Thursday, if it's Thursday when you're watching this. Otherwise, hey, have a happy Thursday when Thursday comes around, and have a happy whatever today is. Yeah. So, alright. Here's what is going on. Synchronicity is amazing. And that is the topic for this week's appreciation video, because I really need to express how important it is to notice all of the things in your life that just kind of line up perfectly. Because it's kind of weird when you're not used to it, and then once you do get used to it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, of course it's that way. It's only natural for it to be that way. But I remember looking back on points in my life before I was aware of how everything kind of works together, or can work together, rather. And looking back and seeing how things were working together before that. How all of these events in life are so intertwined in a way that is just beyond coincidence. And just meeting people and going places, that's something that is just crazy amazing. I was telling this story the other day of how I connected with all of the awesome Earthship Arizona people, and it was because I was living in Sedona. We were planning to move to Boulder, and the day that we moved out and were getting ready to drive to Boulder was being flooded and evacuated. So instead, we spent a few days sitting in a cafe on the internet trying to figure out what we were going to do next. And we meet this random dude who tells us about an Earthship build a few hours away. And we're just like, oh yeah, let's go do that. And then my whole life changed, you know what I mean? And so I was thinking about some more of the recent events that have all kind of one thing leads to the next, and they're all things that are so crazy perfect for me. So one of my friends had invited me to go to the St. Patrick's Day parade in March, obviously, to march with a group of vegans to spread awareness to the vegan message. And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome, I'll do that. And so I ended up making some cool friends there that day. One of whom was a girl who became a Reiki student of mine, and during our Reiki class, we were chatting over lunchtime or whatever, and she was telling me about, bad fish at the ledges, and so then we ended up going to that together this past weekend, an amazing music festival where I met so many incredible people. And it's another one of those things where I've met people and I know that it's a life-shifting point for me again. And it's all one thing leads to the next, and if you keep just doing the things that are really deep, true expressions of who you are as an individual and what you really value most, you're going to keep running into more and more people who share the same passions as you. And I used to have a very, metaphysical perspective on synchronicity, and I can still see it from that way. A lot of things are very magical and just kind of appear out of nowhere. I've definitely experienced a lot of that too. But what I've more focused on now is like the really practical, tangible, logical explanations behind a lot of these things, Obviously not everything can be explained, but just like seeing the really, tangible expressions of synchronicity, and just how one thing leads to the next, and how the more that you do that, the more that you live your purpose, the more that you'll continue to attract your tribe. It's like so amazing. And then, one of the girls who I met this weekend, she ended up being involved in a, little awesome hemp snack food company that, I'll put a link in the description if you're curious, that I saw they needed help on Facebook, extra workers, to help make snacks and stuff a couple of weeks ago, and I remembered thinking, oh, if I had a car, I would so go work there. And she lives 10 minutes away, and was like, oh, well, let's go work there together, sort of a thing. And so I got to go do that the other day now too. And then, the guy who runs the little snack company is also a major activist. He's way into it, and so he's helping me to get more into that. And he was also at the St. Patrick's Day parade, and just all these little connections that happen. And it's all about really putting yourself out there and being you full force in whatever way is most important to you, in a way that helps you to feel like you are living your purpose, and honoring your own truth, who you are as a person and what you value most. And so I just feel like, that's a really important topic to touch on, and to really share my own experiences there of how I've been touched by synchronicity in that way. And so, I think that's a good little description. I'm kind of sleepy, so I seem kind of but so, oh my goodness. I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night, wherever you're at. I've got to tell you that festival this weekend was one of the best times of my life. There's something that happens when there's amazing drumming and a big fire, and this primal essence just expresses itself through me while I dance around this giant fire. And then it was raining, and everybody was going around this mud that's walking in ice cream. It was just the most tremendous weekend, you guys. Seriously. If you are the type who likes that kind of thing in your imagination and you've never done it, definitely check out a festival, because, whoa, to live it is way different than to imagine it. Way different. Okay, guys, I hope you're doing well, and I'm gonna go now because I'm sleepy and I need to go eat breakfast, because I woke up really early today.